attached to it. And one of the strand of that whip will usually have between 7 to 18 other strings. So when they wipe you once, you are taking at least 10 strokes per time. And every time they wipe you, the bottles, the bones, the wires will stick to your skin. So when they pull it out, they tore your skin out. It was on record that on one occasion, they flogged the man, and when they were done, the whole back, only the spinal cord remained. That means the whole skin was butchered off. On another occasion, they said the whip caught somebody and tore out his intestine. That is to tell you how deep those bones can enter and pierce a man. Usually when a man is flogged, he is no longer recognizable. He is denatured. So the idea behind that punishment is to mutilate and dehumanize you, so that when you go out, you cannot be recognized anymore. It was considered to be a death sentence. In Isaiah chapter 52 verse 14, the Bible said he was without figure. So when they dealt with Jesus and he left that place, you won't know if this is a man or a beast. Because the whip, some of it will attach to your eyes, some of it to your neck, some of it to your back, and some of it to your leg. They didn't just flog your back, they flogged every part of you. If it touches your eye, it tears it out. If it touches your cheek, it tears it out. If it reaches your intestine, it tears it out. Anything it does, it tears you out, because it's a death sentence. Now, many people say Jesus was flogged 39 strokes, but that's not true. It is the Jewish people that scourges with 39 strokes. In fact, the Bible recorded that a thief or a man guilty of treason should be flogged 40 strokes. But when they discover that the 40th stroke usually kill, they remove one and makes it 39. But according to history, the Romans don't flog 39 strokes. The Roman flogs you until you are considered mutilated. They will flog you until you are considered dehumanized. That's when they stop. So he was flogged by Romans. He wasn't flogged by Jews. So it's possible that he was flogged more than 40 strokes. Now, according to research, no criminal has ever been flogged and crucified, because the scourging is a death sentence. So when you are scourged, they let you go. It's either they scourge you or they crucify you. Jesus is the only person in history that was both scourged and crucified. Because of the level of fluid that comes out of you, usually it is on record that the moment they are done flogging you, 3 things happen to you. Number 1, you dehydrate so much that thirst alone can kill you, because every fluid in your body comes out. Number 2, your body enters a shock that results in cardiac arrest. So most of the people that don't die of pain, they die of heart failure because of what happens to them. So after Jesus was flogged, Pilate expected that the Jewish people would have said, he's a useless being after all, because this is as good as dead. But when they brought him out, they still shouted, crucify him. And I will tell you why he must be crucified. Because if you don't know why, you will not appreciate what has happened to you. After that happened, they now gave him the cross. Obviously, he couldn't carry it because there was no strength in him. He was already a dead man. And they trekked for about 600 meters from Pilate's location to the place of the cross in Golgotha. When they got to that place, another sorrow entirely began. What you saw in your Bible pictures and your movies is that when you are crucified, they put something that supports your weight, both at the back and at the leg. That is not the Roman crucifixion. In the Roman crucifixion, you are naked, and they crucify you on your wrist, because usually the practice before was in your palm, but they discovered that the bones and the cartilages of the palm cannot bear the weight of the person. So they started crucifying people at the wrist. And so they crucify you on your wrist and on your 2 toes. When you are crucified like that, the whole weight of your body hangs on your wrist and on those toes. And you hang there. So Jesus was hanging there for 6 hours. Between 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, this is the pain of crucifixion. It's not just the sorrow of the weight you feel. Usually, that weight is called excruciating pain. The word excruciating was derived from the word crucifixion. Cruciate is from cruci, and cruci is cross. Because they have never imagined that kind of pain before. Only when the technology of crucifixion was brought in was that allowed. Now, when you are hanging on the cross, usually your weight hangs down. So the posture that is usually assumed is either you go by this side of the cross or you go by that side, because you can't be directly behind the cross. So when you hang on the cross, it is medically proven that because your abdomen will bend too deeply, your diaphragm will be squeezed, so you will suffocate. So if you are going to breathe on the cross, what you will do is that the nails on your wrist, you will pull yourself up to straighten your diaphragm before you can breathe. So for those 6 hours, every time Jesus breathed, he had to pull himself up to be able to breathe and then go back and pull himself up. The pain is unimaginable. Remember, his back has already been butchered. So every time he pulls himself up, he scrubbed that butchered back on that rough wood. And for 6 hours, usually when you breathe at that level, you cough out blood. Because your heart is already about to be ruptured. And when they saw that the Sabbath was approaching, they now went to break their legs so they will die fast. You know why they break their legs? They break their legs so that they can no longer have pressure to push themselves up. So when they break your leg and you can't push yourself up, you will hang and then you will suffocate and die. So it was a gruesome technology of killing you through mutilation. When they came to break Jesus' leg, they discovered he was already dead. So they pierced an arrow through his bowels, and blood and water gushed out. The scientists that did the research said because Jesus was already dead before they pierced that stuff, that arrow, it means he died of cardiac rupture. That means the heart busted. In lay term, what it means is he died of heartbreak. You remember before he died, he said, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. My God, why have thou forsaken me? All these things are narrated is the physical torture. Now there is the soulish torture. Because there are 3 layers of torture that he went through. He went through physical torture, he went through soulish torture, and he went through spiritual torture. Now, the Bible said, Jesus, the Bible speaking by the prophets. And I will read to you all the messianic prophecies tomorrow, so you understand what happened. This business is beyond just coming and feeling good. You won't know why you need to commit yourself ruggedly to God. That's why Paul said, I beseech you, dearly beloved, that you present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God. He said that is your reasonable offering. He said the love of Christ constrains us, for we does judge that if one died for all, they that live no longer live for themselves. The reason is because if Jesus didn't go through that, you would have gone through that level of pain at the end of your life. The soulish torture was the shame. Help the sister. The shame. The Bible said that he did not hide his face from those that spat on him. Do you know what it means to be naked before your mother? Do you know what it means to be naked before your disciples? Do you know what it means to be naked before a whole community that celebrated you as a star? Imagine All of you show up and find me sitting on the floor tomorrow morning, naked, and they say this man is guilty of theft, that is a thief. The same person that walked into the auditorium, all of you clap for. Hope you know